The significance of NVIDIA A800 is self-evident. It's the most demanded chip for large-scale model training in Chinese tech enterprises. Additionally, it currently represents the highest-end AI chip accessible to Chinese businesses. On October 25, NVIDIA revealed in a document submitted to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission that the U.S. government notified the company of immediate export controls on products designed or sold for data centers with a total processing power greater than or equal to 4,800, affecting products like A100, A800, H100, H800, and L40S. This implies that the originally scheduled 30-day public notice window period of the export control rules is non-existent. Chinese enterprises will soon be unable to procure high-end NVIDIA AI chips. The situation is becoming increasingly complicated. It's crucial to note that China is NVIDIA's largest overseas market. Almost all Chinese tech enterprises, Tencent, ByteDance, Baidu, Alibaba, and others, rely on NVIDIA A800, H800, A100, H100, and similar AI chips for large-scale model training. Media reports indicate that several Chinese tech companies, including Tencent, have reserved A800 chips worth $4 billion, scheduled for delivery next year. However, with the imposition of the new ban and the abrupt end to the 30-day window period, there is a possibility of cancelling NVIDIA's massive orders in 2024. This is undoubtedly a significant event for the chip market. So, what are the implications for the parties involved? Who is more anxious in this situation? How is China faring with its domestic alternatives? Today, I'll share my perspective with you. Let's dive right in. On one hand, there is no doubt that the restrictions will directly impact the chip sales of both NVIDIA and AMD. Chip equipment manufacturers like Applied Materials, Lam Research, and KLA are also affected. The Wall Street Journal predicts that this will intensify the rift between the Biden administration and U.S. companies selling products to the vast Chinese market. The U.S. Semiconductor Industry Association has issued a statement stating that this will threaten the entire U.S. semiconductor ecosystem. On the other hand, it is undeniable that this cutoff aims to slow down the development of China's AI large model industry and impede the progress of China's AI industry. Counterpoint, an international market research firm, estimates that Chinese enterprises are currently lagging behind by approximately 2.5 to 3 years in large models such as OpenAI's GPT-4. Chinese cloud providers, server manufacturers, and sales agents are currently unable to place orders with NVIDIA. Although some major Chinese companies have sufficient stockpiles, the impact is limited for now, but there will be significant pressure in the future. Faced with US pressure, NVIDIA seems to be even more anxious than Chinese companies. Over the past few months, Jensen Huang has been working tirelessly to prevent sanctions from being implemented. In addition to exerting pressure on think tanks, Huang has directly warned Washington decision-makers, emphasizing the severe consequences of sanctions. Simultaneously, he has urged the U.S. Semiconductor Industry Association to issue a condemnation statement, highlighting that further restrictions will damage the industry's competitiveness. In July of this year, Huang Renchuan even took Qualcomm and Intel to Washington in an attempt to persuade the U.S. government to relax restrictions on China. However, the U.S. still updated chip export controls on October 17, and the China-exclusive versions of chips, H800 and A800, were also included in the ban. So, is NVIDIA truly irreplaceable? What does the Chinese market mean for NVIDIA? Without delving into too much technical theory today, let's cut to the chase. In inference scenarios, NVIDIA still has alternative solutions. However, in training chips, NVIDIA is practically the only option. The reason lies in NVIDIA's true moat, its software. On October 10 this year, AMD announced its intention to acquire an AI open-source software startup to fill its software gap. Despite being the world's second-largest GPU industry player, AMD's market share has historically been far behind NVIDIA's, especially in the high-performance computing market represented by AI, where its presence is almost negligible. Whether it's a major corporation or a startup, everyone still prefers the H100. The reason lies in the software, specifically the renowned CUDA. As we all know, the initial purpose of GPUs was image rendering for games and videos. Huang Renxuan is the man behind almost all Oscar-nominated films for Best Visual Effects. In 2007, NVIDIA even received a prestigious award, an Emmy, in recognition of its significant contributions to the entertainment industry. To a certain extent, CUDA has become an industry standard. Another characteristic is that it can only be compatible with NVIDIA's hardware. Therefore, any developer wanting to break away from the CUDA ecosystem must consider the costs and risks of being innovative. However, for NVIDIA, the flourishing CUDA ecosystem is both an awe-inspiring mountain that intimidates competitors and a vulnerability, because, if determined, it is not impossible. While NVIDIA is undoubtedly one of the major contributors to the rise of artificial intelligence, it currently faces two undeniable issues. Firstly, the cost is too high. Taking the world's most powerful GPU, the H100, as an example, the initial price is $33,000, and second-hand market prices have risen to around $50,000. If a tech company wants to build a data center with 10,000 H100s, even without considering other costs and ongoing expenses, the GPU procurement cost alone would be in the hundreds of millions of dollars, no small amount, especially for some startups. Secondly, achieving differentiation with general-purpose chips is challenging. Boosting computational power is not as simple as adding fuel to a car. It requires consideration of software adaptability, business needs, and a series of other issues. Moreover, if one exclusively uses NVIDIA GPUs, it means that only when NVIDIA releases new products can their in-house products be upgraded, effectively handing over strategic initiative to Mr. Huang. In the crucial Chinese market, the US export controls are essentially working against Mr. Huang's interests. As mentioned earlier, NVIDIA's core barrier lies in the flourishing ecosystem composed of CUDA. It's like a circle, formed by countless developers. Those who want to enter the AI industry must integrate into this circle. If a portion of developers is blocked outside the circle, what are they most likely to do? They would form their own circle. In fact, NVIDIA is well aware of this, and its legal advisor, Tim Teeter, has warned Washington. The risk you're taking is stimulating the development of an ecosystem led by competitors, which could have a very negative impact on the US's leadership in semiconductors, advanced technology, and artificial intelligence. If the probability of being kicked out of the circle is only 1%, everyone might consider it a black swan event. But once this probability rises, even to just 10%, someone will surely take action. This is why NVIDIA is so alert to US export controls. Chinese tech companies may be determined to shake the table and start building their own ecosystem. NVIDIA is not the only company facing such a situation. Intel and Qualcomm are also involved in pressuring the US government. Part of their competitiveness also comes from ecosystem building, and NVIDIA's predicament makes these two chip giants deeply concerned about mutual dependence. After the last round of export controls on NVIDIA, Intel specifically held the launch event for the Gaudi 2 chip in Beijing, emphasizing helping build the future of Chinese artificial intelligence and collaborating with the Chinese industry ecosystem, clearly trying to take advantage of NVIDIA's situation. With the new export controls in place, AMD's MI250X, MI300, Intel's Gaudi 2, Gaudi 3, along with NVIDIA, are on the list. It's no wonder there are rumors that Intel's top executives, in negotiations with US officials, were so desperate that they pointed fingers and asked, "Do you really understand semiconductors?" Although the overall gap in China's chip industry compared to the US is not small, long-term blockade will undoubtedly accelerate the development of China's chip industry. Once this process begins, it may be irreversible. This is what NVIDIA fears and what many US chip companies are concerned about. As Huang Renxuan puts it, there is no other China, there is only one China. Currently, domestic enterprises in China that can provide AI chips include top tech companies like Huawei, Baidu, Alibaba, state-owned enterprises like Hygon, and startup chip companies like Bitmain, More Threads, Cambricon, Horizon Robotics, and Tensorcom. It's certain that domestic computing power will inevitably find market opportunities, a path China must take. In the face of further expansion of the sanctions, it remains to be seen whether NVIDIA, to capture the Chinese market, will make adjustments again under the new round of export bans. Will they introduce alternative products to temporarily stabilize the Chinese market? In October 2022, during the first implementation of chip export controls, NVIDIA provided alternative versions A800 and H800 to Chinese enterprises to comply with the standards. Things are getting more interesting, and we will continue to follow closely. That's it for today. See you next time.